I know that I had sent you over some questions, so we can chat about as few or as many as you'd like. But why don't we start off by you telling us a little bit about your background and what brought you to slalom?
So I guess starting with before I got into consulting, I was doing mostly hospitality, like point of sale software, um, and it's point of sale software, and then the cloud infrastructure that drove that through was Micros, and then got purchased by Oracle. And then from there, I went into QA for a government firm, or a firm that served the government, and then after that got into consulting, and then once that was done, or once I got into consulting, that's when I ran into Margot and the folks from Slalom. Um, and I was just really impressed. They were the first consulting firm that I had, including the one that I worked for, who walked into a project. Uh, they knew what they wanted to do. They knew how they wanted to do it.
Don't mind the
And
dogs.
yeah, they walked in knowing what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. And they had a plan, which was new, at least from what I saw, because I worked alongside some of the folks from some of the big four and a couple of other boutique places. And um, compared to the slalom team, everybody else seemed like they were just doing more of a science experiment to figure out if they could really do the things that they promised they could do. Whereas when Margot and everyone walked in, it was like, oh yeah, not only are they going to do it, but here's how they're going to do it.
A
They had a whole
science
plan. So
experiment.
it's like,
That's a good way to word it.
well, yeah. So when I got a call out of the blue from Slalom, it was really something I couldn't pass up. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so great. Well, we're excited to have you. And again, thanks for taking time to chat and tell us more about you. So it's been an interesting environment to join a new company in. I know that you did have the opportunity to come into the office to get your laptop and to meet with a few people. Um, Unique onboarding experience in the sense of, 2 weeks afterwards, we're all at home working virtually. In the midst of all of that, whether it's due to us being more virtual or just slalom in general, what has really surprised you the most about slalom since joining?
That it was pretty seamless. I was working for this, it was Intersys before. Um,
Yeah.
they were driven more remote. We had an office, I'll use air quotes, but it was more of a place where they did interviews and where their mail got sent. If you walked in there, it was the two recruiters and the GM if he wasn't on a sales call. So they were used to working remote. So moving to Slalom, I saw all the people who were in the office the whole time, and I was like, okay, this is a bigger footprint than I was used to.
Yeah.
But then when everything, I think I was in the office maybe twice before we went remote. How seamlessly the business just sort of scattered, right? Everybody went to wherever they were supposed to go, and other than a few technical glitches, there really wasn't any hiccups. Everyone was right there, um, ready to communicate. They knew how to how to work effectively remotely already. So there was no, at least from what I saw, I didn't see any issues with that, and it was different to me to see an organization just shift mentality without people falling apart.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
and it was just professional all the way around. It really wasn't, it was everything you would want a transition like that to be.
Yeah, that's great. That is great because it is such an unusual time. It's hey, join a new company, and in the midst of that, let's go through a pandemic and all work virtually. So I'm glad it was seamless and that it was a good surprise. It's always great when it's a good surprise when we do something new. So okay, so on to personal fun stuff. What do you like to do outside of work? What are some of your hobbies? Where will we find you when you're not working?
Um, let's see. I work on mobile apps on the side, just more hobby stuff, and then I just recently graduated from a bachelor's degree program, so I'm sort of getting back into the whole
Congratulations.
going outside mentality. So,
Yep.
but prior to that, I was much more into hiking, going out on the outdoor stuff, and I like to keep up marksmanship skills. So I do. I was getting into shooting competitions and things like that. So
Oh, that's really cool. That's really
I,
cool.
my brother got me into it when he moved to Montana, and I guess I didn't realize that they did the same. That they had the same sort of community out here. You just had to look around for places that held the events, and once I found a few events and got introduced to those folks, it was just a matter of, okay, well, where does this happen? Okay, well, come on down, and we'll get you introduced, get you signed up, and you can just start to either practice or train with us or however you want to do it. So it was nice.
That's cool. So you can actually go train with them and then you do competitions as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Okay. Are those training and programs pretty intense?
Um, I, I don't know. It could be for someone who was starting fresh. Because
Yeah.
I served in the Marine Corps before that, and then I grew up in a family that I think everybody but my sister joined the military. So it
Oh,
was
wow.
less of a culture change. Um, and the events themselves, everyone's of the same mentality. Like there was things with the Phoenix Police Department. They have at the club that I go to, they do that stuff. They do stuff there. There's lots of events, so it's more of a not beginners per se,
Yeah,
beginners to like
definitely.
competition, but um, for the most part, it's folks who are familiar with that type of stuff.
Awesome. That's really cool. I didn't know that. So you were in the Marines prior to um, getting into software development.
Oh, so yeah, I was in the Marines, and then I got into actually cooking professionally, and then I got into technology through a friend. Um, I guess the long story on that one is they recruited me out of restaurant, or they didn't recruit me. They were able to take me out of restaurants and to their help desk for point of sale, and that's how I got into that. So
Oh,
I started off as
cool.
a tier one help desk analyst, so because I could speak the restaurant language, and the mentality at the company that hired me was, well, we hire restaurant people who have some technology skills. We'll train them on the rest, but it's more important that they understand the industry and the folks involved. They have that domain knowledge.
Sure.
We'll give them the technical training to get them up to speed to do help desk stuff, but we wanted to make sure they're restaurant folks who understood the sense of urgency, I guess is the right phrase for it.
That is really so. Were you an actual chef in the restaurant?
I cooked for a living.
Cool. Oh my gosh. Well, all these fun things that we're learning about you. Obviously lots of hobbies, lots of different things that you've done throughout your career. So once this social distancing has stopped and we're all able to get back together and go back to doing some of the things that we enjoy doing, what is the first thing that you're going to go do once this social distancing's lifted?
I haven't thought about that yet. I'm just trying to just trying to get on the other side of this thing, and then I'll plan something, I guess.
You're like, I'm just trying to take it day by day at this point. Oh, well, that being said, have you developed any additional kind of new skills since we've all been quarantined and had a little bit more time at home?
I've had to dust off a lot of skills from the cooking part of my life.
Yeah.
Since I would kind of got into a bad habit of ordering out all the time. Now it's like, okay, well, I have to actually use all these things and figure and make all
Sure.
this food now. So
Any fun new
that's something.
recipes or old recipes that you've been cooking?
Uh, just making things up as I go, I guess.
I love that.
Nothing out of a book.
I'm not that creative. Everything that I do has to be like very by the book. So maybe we'll have to do, once the social distancing lifted, maybe you'll have to do a cooking class for all of us at Slalom. Oh, create your YouTube channel for us.
They make
Awesome.
that hard now. I had thought about that just as something to do, and they, it seems like it's difficult now.
Really?
If you don't want to do ad support, then like you jump through a bunch of hoops, and I was like, oh, this is too much of a pain. I'm just gonna move on.
You're like, I'm moving on. No YouTube channel for me. So, oh, well, that's cool. We'll have to definitely take advantage of that here at Slalom at some point. What's your favorite thing to cook, though?
I like to smoke things. There's a smoker out back, so it's
Oof,
fun.
yum. Yeah, I heard that you can even smoke dessert. Like somebody was telling me they smoke chocolate chip cookies, and I was like, that actually sounds amazing. I didn't know you could do that.
I imagine you could probably like smoke I don't know, maybe the flour or that's interesting.
I
I wonder how
know.
you would do that.
I don't know. Well, maybe a new quarantine hobby to try. You can let us
Something
know
new.
how it goes. Well, last question, and I'll let you get back to your day. But what would you like other slalomers to reach out and ask you about?
I don't know. That's a question I've never been asked before. I guess most of my background is in QA and QA automation, so like anything in that space or anything off
Awesome.
the top of their head, I guess.
And anything about all these other hobbies that we now just discovered about you,
Yeah, there you go.
from
Yeah, that'll work
marksmanship
too.
to cooking to all of the things. So no, that's awesome. And hopefully we can actually have like a happy hour and a drink in person soon. But in the meantime, I am excited that I had a chance to finally get to connect with you. But it'll be great for everybody else here in the Phoenix office to do that as well. So I appreciate your time. Let me know if you ever need anything, and we'll be in touch soon.